Hello crafty people of the internet. Today I decided to post this video with a voiceover simply because I think it's absolutely hilarious and a lot of fun. I've decided to participate in Junk Journal July this year. It is my first time ever joining this challenge, and I thought it would be cool to document the process. So I'm starting off with this video of actually making a junk journal. I decided to use brown bags from the grocery store that I get my shopping from, and I looked at some tutorials. I love watching people do their process videos. It's absolutely so inspiring to me and I get so many ideas. But they use different bags to what I use. So I watched some tutorials and then I just kind of went with it, and I was going to use my intuition and my gut to try and figure out how I am going to make a booklet out of paper bags. So I just kind of flattened them out to kind of see what size I'm working with. I started cutting, I started ripping, I started kind of eyeballing what sort of size I wanted to work with, what size could come out of the bags that I was using with, the folds that already exist. And honestly, it was a bit confusing because number one, I was not measuring anything and I was working with the folds of the paper, which, it goes with the vibe. I really do enjoy a scrappy sort of unclean sort of scrappy vibe. And yeah, so I kind of made something that was kind of A4 in size, and I thought that was too big, so I thought, okay, let me just maybe cut that in half, and that will feel like more of an A5 size, and that's usually what I work with when I do my junk journal scrapbooking collage type things. So that size feels a bit more comfortable for me. And so I just kind of was figuring out how I'm going to do this. So I realized, okay, so there's a flipping page and then there's a page that flips out. So it's basically in sections of 3. And then kind of being like, okay, that's a signature. So in bookbinding, like a bunch of papers together that is, in a collection, if you will, is called a signature. So I made up my own signatures here, and I kind of needed some guidance to keep track of what it is that I'm doing. So I used some masking tape to kind of mark what it is that I'm doing, because also just to note that there's no sewing involved here, because that just felt like another level of complexity that I'm not ready for. So this is purely just glue and paper and tape. Okay, so I put the signatures together. I didn't really know how many pages were going to be in this journal. I was just kind of winging it to see how many signatures came out from the papers that I had already cut, which is, quite an interesting process. Okay, so then we come to how are we going to put these signatures together, how are we going to bind this book. And I thought of doing this zigzag fold and then kind of putting each signature in between each fold. At this point, I was looking at tutorials again and I realized, no, I'm not doing, no one's doing this. I don't even know what this is. So yeah, this is just me trusting my gut that I'm going to make a way to have this book put together with a lot of trust and hope. Okay, so there's my accordion vibe. And now I'm going to just slot these in to their designated slots. And this is quite like a process that uses your brain power and really tapping into what it means to be creative, because I was problem solving here at this point to kind of figure out how this works. And just to let you know, there's more problems that come up ahead. but I'll narrate that when we get there. Okay, so now I'm just kind of neatening up this binding spine, zigzag spine. And I'm pretty chuffed with myself because this is looking like something like an accordion journal, but not really. I'm just putting a sticker there to say this is the front, so that I know this is the front. This is what I'm working with. And so it's looking like an accordion journal, which is really fine with me. Like I said, there was no specific outcome with this. It was kind of intuitive and playful, just to see what I can come up with. And I'm also really fine with the fact of it being, quite an accordion type vibe, because I think I'm going to make it quite a chunky and thick journal. I think I want to stick a lot of things in, so the more spine space you have, like the thicker your pages can be. And I think that's really a fun way of just really getting messy with the fact that you can literally put anything and everything in this journal. Whereas my other journals are a little bit more, I don't want to say curated, but a little bit more structured in like the theme and the layout and the colors. And yeah, this one is just kind of really getting into the messiness, the crafty vibe. Okay, so now you can see this is one of my problem-solving techniques. I realized that the gluing part, what do I glue to what? And so I needed some backing pages for each of the signatures. So here I'm just cutting out single pages to use as like the gluing in between signature 1 and signature 2 and the zigzag accordion thing. So you can see there, that is going to be glued down to kind of keep that as one page, but also bind it. So there was a lot of video footage that I edited out because there's a lot of me just kind of flipping back and forth the pages, trying to figure out what am I doing, like how does this work? And yeah, just kind of undoing, making sure that this paging system actually does make sense before I glue it, because the gluing part is quite messy. Okay, so I think I'm pretty happy with the vibe that I've got going here, and I'm getting ready to glue. So I'm just going to take off this masking tape because I now know that this is the first one and I'm going to be gluing it into the spine. And the glue that I use, the materials that I have, I don't really go buy lots of craft materials, anything that's expensive or like, this is just usual normal school grade glue that I think kids use. And I don't even have any special apparatus to glue. I just use my fingers because this process is quite tactile and I enjoy the playfulness of it. I enjoy the getting your hands dirty because I don't think that I really explored a lot of like tactile creativity in my adult years. Since I do design work as my work with my clients, like I'm very online, I'm very on a computer, I'm very digital, and I loved crafting as a kid. So this is really actually also an ode to some inner child work and inner child playing of just cutting things up, gluing things down, using your hands, not being too careful, not measuring and aligning things properly. And so this is just a bit more of the process of gluing. So I'm gonna let you just watch, see how this one unfolds. But I think I've clocked what it is that I'm doing at this point now. Okay, so it is quite thick and still quite wet from all the copious amounts of glue, as you can see, that I have put into this journal. And yeah, I'm just kind of going to go in and neaten up somewhat a bit of the spine that is a bit too long. I don't know if I'm using the correct terminology here, but I'm just cutting things to just align it a bit so that it looks like a book. And yeah, I'm feeling pretty like impressed with myself that this is the vibe that I did. It isn't just a normal like paging book. Every signature has like a fold out flap, if you will. Yeah, I was cutting pages that were still wet with glue, which obviously isn't ideal, but it gives this kind of scrappy edged look, which I'm really okay with. As you can see, some of the signatures, I didn't take the tape off, but I guess that's just the vibe that I'm going for. And I guess this is going to be kind of a practice in letting go of perfectionism. And I've noticed a lot of junk journal creators, you know, they speak about just letting the page do what it needs to do, you know, without getting too finicky and particular about things, and just letting the creativity flow and express and putting things on a page and playing around with what it is that you have in front of you. And I think that is a super cool, you know, concept. Here I'm just giving my book a little bit of a trim. Very adorable. And yeah, that's about it. I'm pretty happy with this. I don't know how many videos I'll be filming of actually doing my junk journal inserts and the prompts day by day. Maybe I'll do like a summary at the end of the month. Yeah, I don't want to overkill, but I will definitely share on Instagram. Are any of you guys going to be joining Junk Journal July? If you are, connect with me on Instagram. Let me know here. If you are thinking about doing it but you don't think you're crafty enough, please let this video be an inspiration to say that you can do it and you will be able to figure something out from whatever it is that you make. And yeah, I'm getting the goal of this is just to have fun and to express yourself, and I'm planning to do lots and lots of that. Thank you for joining me on this very fun and chaotic journey of trying to figure out how to make a junk journal. See ya soon.